Hi everyone, welcome to my channel in Cloud with Deepak, and in this video we are going to see how we can use an EC2 instance to install Docker and host our web application on a Docker container. So let's get started. Firstly, I would like to show you the GitHub code. I have a very simple web app here. We're using Flask. We have created this. So this is a defined hello program. As you see, hello from the Python app. This is the code that will be returned. It is going to use Flask. So this is a very simple web app. Okay. Now the other stuff in the folder include Dockerfile and requirements.txt. We will talk about the contents of these files later. But this is the GitHub repo that we are going to use for this project. All right, I'm inside my EC2 console, and firstly we will have to launch an EC2 instance. We can name it as webapp1, select the OS as Ubuntu, and 64-bit is good, AMI is good, instance type, we can keep it T2 micro. Key pairs, if you don't have any key pair, you can create a new key pair. This will be used for accessing the EC2 instance via SSH. Then in the network settings, we have the security groups. We will allow the SSH from anywhere, although this is not a security best practice, but for now we are going to keep it as it is. Then I think we don't need to configure any other stuff. Just click on launch instance. Okay, so our EC2 instance is launched, and now we will try to access it with the help of EC2 instance connect. Let's wait for it to be in the running state. Great. So this is the public IP on which our web app will be accessible. Okay, so our instance is up and running. Let's connect with the help of EC2 instance connect for now. You can also connect via the SSH keys that we have created. Okay, so as we connect to this instance, our next task is to install Docker on this EC2 instance. So let's simply first update it. This will update all the app packages and all upgrades if required. Okay, now let's check if the Docker is already installed. No, it says command Docker not found. We will have to install it. We can do it via this command shown here. So paste it and sudo apt install docker.io. Let's run this. Okay, so I think Docker is installed. Let's check. Yes, great. So let's set an alias so that we don't need to write Docker again and again. All right, so we have deployed our EC2 instance and we have installed Docker on it. Now we will have to clone our GitHub code that is present in this repo, and this repo has the Docker file in it, which will be used by Docker to create an image of the container for the containers that we are going to spin up for our web app. So let's make a directory named test here. Get inside that directory. Currently there are no files here, so we will quickly clone our repo. Let me get the code, the GitHub repo link basically, and paste it here. Okay, it is successfully cloned. We will get inside the cloned repo, and we see all our files are here. Now, this is the Docker file which will be used by the Docker agent on this EC2 instance to create an image. Let's quickly have a look at the Docker file. So as you see from Python 7.3.7, so this is the base image that is going to be used. Then it is going to create an app directory. It will set the working directory to app, and it will copy all the contents inside this folder to that app folder on the container. Then it is going to install all the requirements from our requirements.txt file that you see in this folder. And then it is going to expose the port 5000 of that container. I would like to inform you that we are using Flask, and by default Flask uses 5000 port. So on our container Flask will run and it will use 5000 port, which we will be mapping against our local host port, that is the port of the EC2 instance in later commands. And the last section of this Docker file is this command part where it is running that Python main.py app. Okay, so you see this app and app here again and like two times because uh, I have kept this name app as this, and we are making another directory as app. So this is a bit confusing, but I hope you understand that uh, this is how it is. Okay, forgive me for this. Great. So yeah, we have the Docker file ready, and now we will quickly use the Docker command to build the image. So Docker build t, we can tag the image as my app, and okay. So we got some permission denied error. Okay, Docker daemon socket at Unix while trying to connect. Okay, so it is not going. It is not able to connect to the Docker daemon. So I think we will have to set the user mode. Basically, we are granting the permission uh, to the current Ubuntu user. We are adding it to the Docker group so that it can use the Docker service. So we can use the sudo user mod add to group command, and we can specify the user. This is the environment variable for our Ubuntu user, and specify the group to which this user needs to be added. So okay, so I think there is some syntax issue. We need to specify Docker, that is the group to which the user needs to be added first. Great. So now what has happened is the user Ubuntu will get all the permissions to run the Docker as it is added to the Docker group. So we are good. I think we will have to reboot the instance for this to come into effect. Let's quickly do that, and we will have to just connect to the instance again. Okay, let's try one more time. Take some time, some time it, it is slow. Great. So okay, we have rebooted our EC2 instance, and now we are inside it. So let's get inside the directory test that we created inside the hello world EC2 Docker app folder. Great. So lastly, we were not able to create the image. So now we will quickly do that. Let's first set the alias again quickly, and then run the docker docker build command with tag as my app. So yes, as you see, it has started to build our image from the Docker file. Let's wait for it. So step one in our Docker file is pull this base image. So it is pulling it from the library, and it will subsequently show all the steps that we have mentioned in our Docker file here. So we can have a look at that again. So this Python image is pulled, then it will form this app directory, set it as a working directory, and it will copy all the contents to it, install all the requirements, expose 5000, and then it is going to run that main.py Python app. Great. So as you see, step by 7 are completed, and I think we have got the container ID also. Great. So let's see if our container is up and running. No, okay. We will have to start it. We have just created the image till now. Let's see if the image is up. You see my app images here. With the help of Docker images command, we have checked it. Now our next task is to spin up the container, okay, from the formed image. So let's do that. Docker run, specify the name of the container. I'm just naming it as container1 c1. We want to run it in background, so specify tag t, and port, we can map the port 3000 of this EC2 to port 5000, which is used by the Flask application. And then we can specify the image name, that is my app. Okay, I think we are good. Let's see if the container is up and running. All right, so guys, we see our container is up and running, and you see the port mapping here. The localhost port 3000 is mapped into the container port 5000. Let's try to reach the website using curl. So we will use our localhost address. We can also use 127.0.0.1, which also points to localhost, and specify the port, that is 3000. Great. So this says hello from the Python app. That means our container is up and running. And what is happening here is I'm pinging my localhost 3000 port. So it is redirecting my request to the container port, which is running the application on port 5000, and from there we are getting this response. Great. Now, if we want to see this in our browser, we should be able to use this public IP. So I have not configured the security groups as of now. So let's just try to do it without that. So port 3000, right? We will not be able to access as of now because we have not configured the inbound security group rules. So I'll go to my EC2 security group, inbound rule, and edit inbound rule. Basically, we are going to allow all traffic on port 3000, all inbound traffic on port 3000. Okay, so great. Our security group is updated, and now let's go back here. And we are not required to reload, it has already reloaded, and we see our Python web application up and running. So this is the response that is coming from our container that is running on our EC2 instance. Great. So we have successfully accomplished our task. Now this can be a very complex Python app, web app, or anything, any kind of code. Okay. The main motive behind this video is to show you how we can use the EC2 instance with the help of Docker, how we can deploy our web application. And in the upcoming videos, we are going to use Jenkins, which is a CI/CD tool, to basically pull the code from our GitHub and build it and deploy the code on the containers like this. So we will just have to click on build now button in Jenkins, and all of the other stuff that we have done manually in this video will be done automatically. So stay tuned with me, and we are going to have fun with this. Thanks for watching.